Hey, happy Wednesday! We are going to a very special place that we've been waiting to open for a while. It opened Monday. We couldn't get here until today. We're going to go check out Rock Brews. It's a restaurant that's owned by Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley of Kiss, and it's come to Orlando, and it's in soft open mode. Started Monday. I think the grand opening's in January. We're going to check it out now and let you know how it is. So we're here. This is the outside of Rock Brews. It's nighttime, and already I can see very cool thing outside besides that fire pit. Up on the wall, Van Halen logo. It's got to be good. So I like how they have the fire pits outside. And for door handles, they have signed guitar necks from Gene and Paul. Very cool. So here's the inside. I'm just going to take you for a quick spin around. Out front, where the maitre d' is, we have a bunch of merchandise, of course, t-shirts. And you have a whole bunch of rock and roll memorabilia up on the walls. I'll take you for a look around. Lots of TVs. They have an extensive set of bar tabs. As well as top shelf liquor. So out on the patio, they have a nice little kids area. Alice Cooper, of course. Here's another shot of the inside. Lots of heat lamps for Florida, which, believe it or not, right now is 39 degrees, so you actually need them. And you have this fire pit area. This is really awesome. I love the Woodstock logo. Lots of speakers for music. Let's take a look at the menu. So, Rock Brews, one of the things that drew me to this is that they have an unbelievable amount of beers. So look at the amount that they have on here, and it's not just your typical like Yinglings and Heinekens and stuff like that. They have a lot of beers, and they have local beers too. For us, it's like Cigar City and Funky Buddha, Engine 15. That's really cool stuff. And we could try some flights. O-Town Brown Ale, we've had that before over at Kelfish. That was really good. So, and then we've got all of these bottled beers. So you got a whole entire page, double columned, of bottled beers. And then you've got appetizers and salads. So the appetizers, I was looking at the pretzel that might happen. Then you got different wings and salads again. And then you got sandwiches like turkey BLT, chicken sandwiches, salmon sandwich. You got ribs, fish tacos, market fresh things like chicken breasts and fish, and then burgers. I'm sure burgers are one of the big things on the menu. We'll find out from the waitress. And they've got an ultimate burger and pizzas. When I went around the inside of the restaurant before, we saw a bunch of people eating pizzas. They looked absolutely delicious. And in the back, there's a plug for merchandise, of course. And so, by the way, this is a very dog-friendly restaurant, and they have dog food on the menu. Not dog food, but food for dogs. So you can buy strips of bacon, hot dogs, burger patties, chicken breasts, or doggy beer. That's interesting. Alright, so we got this giant pretzel that Jesse already started eating with some beer cheese. Mary got this little something ale from Lagunitas. And I've got this beer flight, which is the style beer flight. So it's Oscar Blues, Mama's Little Yellow Pills, Pauliner Hefeweizen, Green Flash West Coast IPA, and Young's Double Chocolate Stout. I'm going to try a little of this something because I'm born in the USA. It's very flowery.
Tastes like pink grape.
So Jesse got a pulled pork sandwich and fries. I got an R&B pizza that has sausage, pepperoni, mushrooms, and onions, and olives. And Mary got a strawberry field salad that's supposed to have steak and didn't. So we got Purple Rain, I think it's Purple Rain drops for dessert. It's basically like donuts, I think with chocolate around. Chocolate-filled donuts with raspberry drizzled on it and fresh cream. Sounds good. All right, so we're gonna give you the very professional car review because we're outside the restaurant and didn't want to exactly keep holding a camera in front of my face while folks are inside. But meal's over. We had that dessert as well, and I think what I'm gonna do is let Mary and Jesse tell you about their experience first. What did you think?
Food was very good. Service was not that great, but otherwise I liked the food.
Okay. Jesse?
I like my food.
Yep. Okay. So here's my thoughts. I think that there's a potential for a gold mine here. I think that what my first impression was coming into the place is that when we saw interviews about the place being built, Gene and Paul referred to the restaurant as being in Orlando. It's not really in Orlando. It's a little bit of a hike outside of the city. And when I mean a little bit of a hike, it's, if you think you're on vacation, you're going to pull in touristy type crowds. It's probably a good 40 minutes from any of the parks where people would normally consider Orlando. So that said, we're looking at a restaurant that's trying to pull in local crowd. And that's great, because we're a local crowd. But I think the drink menu is far better than the food menu. There's a lot more beer on the menu, which is fantastic for someone like me. I'm a beer enthusiast. I love tasting different types of beers, and there's a lot on the menu to try and like. I liked getting the flight of beer, and I got the style flight of beer. I was going to get the local, but I've had most of them already, so I wanted to try different beers. I was a little disappointed that one of the things that you've seen in the pictures is that each one of the beers on the flight tray is supposed to come with a little guitar pick that tells you what each of the beers is. And they didn't have that here. They said like, well, we don't have that yet, and just kind of shrugged it off. But more important than just shrugging that off, the waitresses, and two of them brought out the drinks. Neither of them could clearly tell you which any of the beers were, except for the stout that was on the flight, because it's easy to tell which is the chocolate stout, it's the brown beer. But as far as the amber beers, I was playing guessing game trying to figure out which of the beers was which. Okay, when it came to food, we had a waiter that, I'm not going to blow the guy up and say his name, although if the restaurant's watching this, you feel free to contact me. I'd gladly give you his name. He did not know the menu. He didn't know what was good, what was not good. He did tell us that he's tried a bunch of different things for the last like 34, 35 different meals that he's had here already, including having food brought in from other locations to try. When I asked him the differences between pizzas, he was quoting me the wrong pizzas. He didn't know the names of the meals that he was offering to serve. Again, that's kind of fine. I think that, those are things like you need to get your legs underneath you. It's the third day of a soft opening, but the waiter was more concerned in telling us his private life, and when he goes to school and he likes to go surfing and he's been going out with a girl for a year, rather than remember to bring steak out when Mary ordered a salad with steak, didn't bring the steak, and then said, oh my God, that's my fault, and then proceeded to come back about 10 minutes later with the steak to add to a salad while everybody else was eating. So that wasn't necessarily all that cool to me. I'm guessing one of the floor managers, a woman, came over and asked to see if she could make things right, and I appreciated the effort. We didn't take her up on any offer, but that's fine as well. I don't think that there's much that you could do at that point because we were waiting on food. When we went to get dessert, the waiter left and forgot to bring additional drinks out to us that we had asked for with the dessert, and then forgot to bring the check. And then brought the check and didn't realize that he needed to bring us back after we gave him a card, that he needed to swipe it and bring it back to us. So there was a lot of different mishaps. I honestly don't think that he was probably well served, and quite honestly, kind of made me feel like I didn't want to come back here again, just solely because of the service. It was really poor. The last thing that I could say about the waiter is that obviously we waited for this restaurant to open for a while. When they first announced that they were opening a restaurant, specifically when I mean Gene Simmons and Paul Stanley, Mary and I, again, both huge Kiss fans, and it's the same thing like when Sammy Hagar opened his Cabo Wabo restaurant in different locations. I went to go eat at one of the locations when I was on travel. I anxiously awaited the restaurant to open and casually asked the waiter has Gene and Paul stop by? And he said, sure, they stopped by. But Paul was a nice guy, but Gene was an ass. You know, and continued to badmouth to Gene Simmons. And to me, again, quite honestly, I know Gene Simmons' persona, but it's not something that you broadcast out to the paying customers that are coming to your establishment to eat based off of the legacy of those folks that are opening the restaurant. I thought it was really in bad form. So overall, Rock Brews, Oviedo, Florida. If you're in Orlando, I think probably a bit of a stretch to make the trip out here. If you're local, the food was pretty good. The TVs are all over the place, so it's similar to like going to an Orlando ale house, though probably a little bit more expensive. The beer selection, really awesome. So well worth the time to try to check it out if you're local. But I would probably give it a while to see how the reviews start panning out, maybe on Yelp or social media first, to see if folks are a little bit more enthusiastic with the service. Because the service, to me, is part of the experience for the restaurant and either makes or breaks whether you want to go back there again. And right now, I can quite honestly say I don't really want to go back. So we're back home, and again, not to be overly harsh, I thought the food was really good tonight. The beers were even better than the food. The service was not that great. I think it's worth checking out probably after they get their legs underneath them and they get set to go. But on that note, I'm going to sign off for now. So thanks for all the likes and the comments and the subscriptions. Treat others the way you want to be treated. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for watching.